every single student of knowledge knows, who studies ulum al-Quran, that the most difficult topics are ahruf and qira'at. When you're the beginning student of knowledge, you're like, what is all of this going on here? When you go a little bit more, you learn to simply memorize what your teachers say and regurgitate it out. And you don't fully comprehend. When you do a deep dive is when things get very, very awkward and difficult. That the issue of ahruf and preservation and qira'at and relationships between them, these are very, very difficult issues. And the most advanced of our scholars, they're not quite fully certain how to solve all of the unanswered questions in there. Here's the point. These issues should only be discussed amongst people who know what the qira'at are. And it's very clear to you and to every single very advanced student and specialist that the standard narrative has holes in it. That's what I'm going to say. The standard narrative does not answer some very pressing questions.
And many people, maybe most, I don't know, many Muslims grow up not knowing anything outside of the Hafs tradition. And they don't get exposed to the idea that there are other reading traditions and that there are Quranic variants and that all sort of this whole system framework that I discussed. And it might be surprising to some people, but and unfortunately, actually, so I have heard some preachers that do say that there's only, you know, one reading or one Quran or something like that. And, you know, if I were to be very generous, I would say that that falls under the umbrella of like lies to children, if that makes sense. So lies to children.
Actually, it's not a scholarly way of thinking about the Quran. Our scholars have always known and have always described in our classical books variations and manuscripts, like, you know, it's read like this by Ubay ibn Ka'b, it's read like this by Ibn Masud and so on. And in the Codex of Ibn Masud, it was seen to be written like this. In the Codex of Ubay ibn Ka'b, it was seen to be written like this with this or that variation. So these were always known in scholarly circles to have existed. But recently, average Muslims have just simply, without bothering to learn, they have just simply parroted a common way of speaking about the Quran and saying, you know, it's 100% the way it's always been. And they cannot imagine any variation.